What's going on, guys? Welcome back to lesson 3 now of our crash course brought to you by Coin Collective. In today's lesson, we will be talking about fundamental analysis,
training your emotions,
and picking the right coin. So in the last lesson, we talked about centralized versus decentralized exchanges,
how to buy your first crypto,
hot wallets versus cold wallets, and basically just getting started. So we showed you how to get started, but how do you know what to pick? Because there's about 11,500 cryptocurrencies and counting right now, and picking the right coin can be pretty difficult. So in today's episode, we're gonna give you the tools to make the right decision when investing in digital assets.
We're gonna teach you how to make smart decisions, not emotional ones.
So when Doug and I are scanning through a new project's website, one of the very first things I look for is who's their team?
We're looking for transparency. We want to have a team there, a strong team. Do they have LinkedIns? Are they active on social media? Are they active with the community? Do they have AMAs?
If they are public and they are passionate about their project and they are forthcoming and they are answering questions actively and proactively from their community, then you've probably found a decent project worth pursuing a little bit deeper. So if you have a transparent team also, that means that their profile picture is probably on the website. They may have their LinkedIn like he talked about. And this helps build trust between the developers and their community.
And that's really important because nobody wants to buy into a scam. You know, there's a ton of projects where you just buy it and you don't really know who's running it and they just rug pull you and they take all your money.
So if you see that team member or CEO or COO's profile picture on that website, he's putting himself on the line. He's putting his reputation on the line for that project. All right, so we're here at the computer and I'm about to show you guys Hedera's website. So here we are, guys. Obviously, Hedera has a beautiful website, super streamlined, super simple. I'm going to show you guys their team. So, yep, here you go. You got the founders. You have pretty much the entire company all on the website. You got their profile pictures. You have their bio. This is the most famous, one of the most famous guys, Lehman Baird. He's the brainchild of Hashgraph. Has a short description of who he is. His LinkedIn's not here, but I'm sure you could find it if you went on Google and researched his name because he's pretty vocal on the internet and pretty public. This is a huge thing that I normally look for, is a team that has doxed themselves and is not anonymous. And also, if you were to go to their YouTube, you have deep dive videos, you have coding tutorial series, you have these town halls that they do where they let the community come in, like this one, the community come in and ask them questions, which is super important, which means that they're taking time out of their day to make sure everyone in the community knows what's going on and everyone's up to speed. So there you go, guys. This is pretty much what it means to have a strong and transparent team. So another thing we look for when researching new projects is, what is the utility of the token? What does it do?
So does that coin have a use, a purpose? Is it going to be used for something? Applications? What purpose does it serve?
So one good example is XRP. XRP is used as a bridge asset between two different types of currencies, say the US dollar and the euro. XRP sits in between and acts as the swapping mechanism between these two different currencies. That is the utility of that specific asset. And there can be so many more types and uses for utility tokens. XRP is just one example.
So another great example is Constellation. They developed a new protocol like HTTP, but now it's on the blockchain and it's way more efficient to transfer data over the internet.
So if you hold the Constellation token, that translates to throughput on their network. The more tokens you have, the more bandwidth you can use. Just like the more you pay for Wi-Fi, the higher your speeds go. So what is a good example of a coin that has really no utility?
That would be like a lot of the meme coins out there, like Doge and Shiba. They don't have much utility. The price is basically associated with the hype around it and whoever's buying it. It doesn't serve a purpose.
So we're not here to hate on meme coins. We're not here to hate on Dogecoin. We're just telling you it doesn't really have any real use case. If you've made money on it, great. We're happy for you. We're just telling you it doesn't really have any kind of long-term utility or intrinsic value that you can rely on. So here we go, guys. We are at Chainlink's website, and Chainlink is a project that has very strong utility and use case. What they do is they act as an oracle, which in this case means they secure data from companies or systems that exist off the blockchain, and they facilitate bringing that data onto the blockchain. So they work as kind of like a pipeline for off-chain data to on-chain data. So say, for example, you have like a supply chain company and their product has sold out. So the blockchain doesn't know that their product has sold out, but that specific supply chain company knows that their product is sold out. So how you would get that data to the blockchain that this product has been sold out is through an oracle or pipeline like Chainlink. So as we're scrolling through their website, you can see that, like easily integrate with hundreds of blockchains. You have this enterprise stack or database that goes through this Chainlink node here, and it allows it to access blockchain networks. So think of it as kind of the gateway from the existing data infrastructure and the existing systems to blockchain networks through Chainlink. Okay, guys, so I know this is a lot, but this is just a kind of 30,000 foot view of utility. This is just a good example. So that's utility. Another thing is market share. How large is the industry that this project is tackling? Are we talking about the basket weaving industry, or are we talking about supply chain or banking? So what we mean by this is if you have a new video game that comes out and they have their own coin for that specific video game that allows the gamers to monetize their gameplay and earn money for their time spent playing that specific video game, that's a niche specific market.
On the other hand, you could have a coin like Wax that is used for any game or any digital payment, really.
Think big. Try to invest in things that want to tackle a market on a macro scale. That doesn't mean that there are not smaller coins out there that are not valuable. That just means gauge your investment. Just try to understand and zoom out and see how large that market really is. All right, so let's look at an example of market shares. So here we are. This is Zenfin. They are a powerhouse in the world of blockchain, and they are tackling global trade and finance, which is an industry worth tens of trillions of dollars. And their protocol and blockchain network can basically tackle almost anything. And here they are, they're being compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're far more efficient. They have far quicker confirmations, far less energy consumption. They're working with huge industry players on the planet. They're ISO 20022 compatible, which is huge on a global scale. So as you can see, these guys are tackling a huge market. So let's compare this with another company called PundiX. Their native token is Pundi, and what they are is a point of sale blockchain company. And they work very similar to like the Square reader you would use if you went to your local coffee shop to purchase a coffee. But this reader, XPOS, that they provide is similar to Square, but it accepts all different forms of cryptocurrencies. And this is super cool because it allows you or I to go to a retail store and be able to pay for everyday goods with our cryptocurrencies. But this point of sale market is only valued around $10 billion as of 2020. So they are tackling a far smaller market as opposed to, say, Zenfin is. So these are just two different examples of different sized market shares that different companies are going after. So another thing we look for is partners or partnerships with other companies. And this is very important because that means that this team is trying to expand and build off of other communities.
So when you go and research and you see these huge companies partnering with a coin, that's probably a good sign. It means that has value to it.
They probably wouldn't put their reputation on the line for that project if they didn't have some belief in its success.
And some partnerships will improve the underlying technology and make it better, and in turn increase the value of the product.
For example, one of our favorite projects, Constellation DAG, partnered with the Department of Defense and Air Force a few years ago. And since that partnership, they've been awarded numerous grants and extreme improvements in their technology since then.
And seeing that partnership with the Air Force really got us excited because they were the initial adopters of the internet.
Typically, as everyone knows, the US government has technology far before we do.
And now Constellation is handling all of the internal data for the government.
That's a lot. The Pentagon transfers a lot of sensitive data. And if Constellation was able to prove that to our government and secure it in a decentralized manner, that's huge.
Another great project with partnerships is Quant.
They are partnered with the Central Bank of London, Central Bank of Europe, many central banks in Latin America, MIT. They're building the financial infrastructure of the future through what is called a CBDC. And we will explain in a later lesson how central bank digital currencies are important and will affect our lives in the next couple years. Another tip also that I ran into personally in the past is don't rely for all of your information on a project you're looking into and researching from a YouTuber. They may not have you in their best interest.
And don't listen to only us either. Go out and do your own research.
We always advocate for that. Go out, do your own research. When you get to these projects' websites, read their white paper. It's on their website. If you don't have to read the whole thing, just at least understand the underlying fabric of what you're investing in.
And that pretty much wraps up choosing the right crypto.
Okay, guys, so we talked about a strong team, transparency, utility, partnerships, how large is that market they are tackling, and doing some of your own research. Don't just rely on random people on YouTube or the internet to give you information.
If you're gonna go out and invest your hard-earned money, you want that to go somewhere where it's actually gonna benefit you.
All right, so for the next section of this episode, we're gonna talk about dollar cost averaging. You may have seen us talk about that on our YouTube channel before, but we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into it. We always recommend dollar cost averaging, whether it be in or out of your trades.
Dollar cost averaging is a great way to automate and take the emotions out of your trades.
This can be accomplished by simply setting aside a little bit of money and slowly averaging your way in or out of an asset. This won't give you the perfect entry, but at least you didn't buy the very top like a lot of people do.
It's not a hard thing to do. It's pretty easy.
So let's just clarify this. Dollar cost averaging kind of takes the emotion out of when you are investing into whatever digital asset it may be. And over time, you take small contributions instead of trying to time the very bottom of the market, which is nearly impossible. So even if you wake up on, say, Monday morning and the price is super high, it doesn't matter. You still put the same amount in as you always do. It's like building a habit. And the odds are, at the end of the day, you are going to have the best average price than the guy that tried to time the market. So for this next part of the lesson, guys, we're going to be talking about managing and training your emotions.
As everybody knows, crypto is a volatile market and it can seem very daunting.
But if you zoom out, what a lot of people don't know is we've been making higher highs and higher lows consistently for the past few years. If you can train yourself to not get that huge dopamine rush when you get that 50% gain, but smash that sell button when you're down 10%, you're probably gonna make it through. You guys are in a new asset class. You are in the Wild West. It's speculative, it's finding its value, but that's when the real gains are really gonna be made.
So something I like to focus on is the amount of tokens I'm holding, the cryptos, the balance of it instead of the dollar amount.
So focus on how large your holdings are of the tokens over the dollar amount, because the odds are it fluctuates ridiculously on a daily basis. So instead of allowing that dip in your portfolio to get you emotional and uncertain about why you bought this, or doubtful if you're ever even going to make your initial back, try to keep accumulating and focusing on your position, because the odds are, with how early we still are in this space, it's just going to keep going up until this market matures, which it is far from. So this always gets me very excited. The current value of the entire stock market right now is 51.1 trillion. Guess how much the total value of the cryptocurrency market is?
2.8 trillion.
So what that means is this market is still in its infancy. So as Ray Dalio says, you have to bet against the consensus and be right to be successful in the market. And we understand this is not always easy. Finding that solid project and standing firm in your convictions is 9 times out of 10 way more beneficial than trying to chase the hype crowd with a new meme coin that came out. And if you are right with that and you bet against that consensus and you turn out correct, you're going to make far more money than the lucky few that made millions on meme coins that I'm sure you have seen paraded on the internet.
So if you've done your research from what we've told you, how to pick that right crypto, and there's not a lot of coverage on it, you're not hearing a bunch of hype around it, nobody's talking about it, that could be a good sign. You're early. You're on the ground floor.
Don't be uncertain just because you haven't seen it on YouTube. So crypto's new, we all know that. It's risky, but if you follow these tips and methods that we taught you in this lesson, you will have a far better chance of succeeding in this market over the next guy that's FOMOing into the market and trying to get that quick buck. All right, guys, that's it for this lesson. Before we wrap up, we just wanted to give you a quick tool that we like to use every once in a while when researching a new project. It's a website called Lunar Crush. And Lunar Crush is a fantastic tool because it does social listening on new projects or any project and tells you how hyped or underhyped it is on social media, the internet, and how many articles are being created on it. It's an amazing resource.
So in this lesson, we talked about choosing the right crypto. That involves a strong team, the leadership, transparency and utility of the coin, partnerships, how large is the market they're tackling, how to dollar cost average, and why it's important, and how to train your emotions in the market.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.